on TEDx Eustace, right?
Yes, and it is
Yeah.
wonderful. Hey, we are live now, guys. We are live on Facebook. It is so good to have you today, of course, Mark, my amazing co-host. I'll tell you guys who are listening today, we have we've just got some amazing things underway with the art of encouragement. We're dreaming big dreams, and it's so awesome to be able to walk this journey with my friend Mark. Mark, how are you today?
Doing well, Nick. It's always a pleasure to, I love this podcast. I love this meeting of the minds. It's encouragement. It's rooted and based in real life situations. We all go through our ups and downs and our peaks and valleys, and we do it together. So that makes a lot of sense to me.
Absolutely. And, last week when we met, I'd been referred to an oncologist and I wasn't able to really process that. It was right before our podcast. And I tell you, this weekend, I was discouraged. I was a little afraid, and I shouldn't have been because I learned something. Oncologists are also mostly hematologists, and I finally got some answers for the health issues I've been having and was diagnosed with a rare blood disorder called antiphospholipid syndrome or Hughes disorder. And it just means I'm going to struggle with some blood clots, but as long as I'm proactive, I remain on blood thinners. I should be okay, normal life expectancy. So I went into the weekend thinking, oh no. And I remained encouraged though. And although that initial response was one of, oh no, I maintained a positive attitude and am just so thankful with the outcome. So
Yeah.
thank you for your encouragement during that time. You definitely did that for me. And today I think we just need to go right into it. We have an amazing guest with us today. His name is RJ Chapman. He's from Lake Tahoe, Nevada. He graduated from George Whittle High School and he was the student body president in 1976. He joined the Navy in 1976 as an interior communications electrician, and he steadily rose through the ranks and in 1992 was selected for the Command Master Chief program. This selection is based on demonstrated superior leadership, broad management skills, effective communication, and proven administration capabilities. He retired in 2007 with the rank of Command Master Chief. I met RJ Chapman when I was giving a TEDx talk over in Eustis, and his presence was just amazing. I absolutely enjoyed meeting him, and at this time, I would love to welcome RJ to our show. Um, RJ is joining us today through phone, so we won't get a chance to see him. But RJ, you've been an encouragement to me and to other people. In inviting you on the show today, although we didn't have a lot of time to plan our meeting and that sort of thing with you, I want to ask, how has encouragement affected your life, RJ?
Oh, what a great question. Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Well, I love the question, Nick, and I got to tell you that I'm all about this encouragement thing. I mean, I'm all about it. You just never know what you say to people and what it's going to do for them. And I've got to give you a perfect example, talking about TED and talking about Toastmasters and all this. You know, when I was working through my TEDx coaches and we had a big Zoom call, and it was early on the TED Talk, and I was kind of maybe doubting myself a little bit, which isn't big in my world, but Ted's a pretty big animal. And I was talking, and Maria Martinez came up, and she told me on the Zoom, she goes, RJ, you're going to be great. And just those words, right then and there, I said, you know what? I can do this thing. She just told me I can, and I can.
That's amazing. It's funny because Maria Martinez is a friend of both myself and Mark Guy, and she is who connected Mark and I from the very get-go.
I
That's
know, it's
that's
amazing. Oh, it's
amazing.
amazing. Yeah,
That's amazing.
Dr.
What
Maria
a
Martinez,
small
she's a
world.
force of nature. Yeah.
Wow.
What a small world. And you know what I like about Maria? When she talks to you, and this is something about encouragement too. When she talks to you, she is present with you. She's just talking to you. I don't care if you're in a room with 300 people. She's not looking around and deciding who she's going to talk to next. She's talking to you. And when you're going to encourage someone, you got to be in their world. You got to be focused, and you got to think about them.
That's it. That's it. Well, how do you give encouragement, RJ?
Jeepers
You
creepers. I
do
do
it.
it all the time. Yeah, I do it all the time. I work with some special needs kids, and I do it every Thursday, and they're really close to my heart. And no matter what they do, they're always a winner. They always want to hug me. I want to hug them. I tap them on the back when they get something done. We play these games. I really like encouraging them because they're so happy just to have somebody, tell them, hey, you know what, you did a great job today.
Absolutely. And just seeing that response from them, I know has to just feed that encouragement back. So it's almost a cycle, probably. Has that been your experience?
Oh yeah, and you get back, 10 times what you give out. So just give out a little something. Just tell somebody, hey, you know what? That was nice. I love that word nice. I don't like saying good job. Well, I say good job, but I mean, wow, well done or all that. But I just like looking at somebody and saying, you know what? Nice. Because that can mean anything to anybody, and they can figure out what nice means. I just think it's a great word.
Absolutely. That is nice. Mark, do you have any questions,
Yeah.
RJ?
Yeah, one comment just listening to your voice, RJ, and the way you
Yeah.
empower and energize the meaning behind the words. It's the energy we put, right? It's the energy we put behind our words. It's the intention, the presence. Yes, I'm also a privileged individual that I know, Dr. Maria Martinez, and now I call her Dr. Maria Martinez. I knew her before she was a doctor, so now it's an evolution. So it's I now
Right.
when I write to her, I say doc, and it's a term of respect. It's a term of honor, and happily um, I'm happy to do that. So what I wanted to say is how like how did you come about with your TEDx talk, and how did it all come about for you? And because a lot of people who are watching us are dreaming and very much aspiring to become a TEDx speaker, and for whatever reason they're not quite there yet. So what would you say to
Right.
somebody who is at a little bit on the journey, a little bit starting out?
Well, I would say that my journey was very, very different from most people's selection or being chosen to do a TED Talk. I was a teacher for a long time, and I actually had a lady come in my classroom who was taking some video. You know Sabrina Sterling, right?
Yes,
Nick?
absolutely.
And so she came in my classroom and she was taking a little video because she works at the school, because I was teaching my class and using some technology, and I was the first one kind of to do it. And she showed the principal the video, and he took it to Georgia and showed all the principals in the state, look at this guy. He's using this new technology to where you were supposed to teach children. So flash forward about 10 years later, and Sabrina says, you're going to do a TED Talk. And I'm like, what's TED? I never even heard of it. She goes, you're going to do one. And she's fill out this paperwork. I'm like, okay. So I fill out this paperwork, and, like a week later, somebody calls me and asks me if I want to do it. And that's how I fell into it.
Wow. That's amazing.
Is that crazy? That's crazy. That's not the normal way. So I don't know the normal way, but I think if you work hard enough and you submit your paperwork and you answer the questions and you're willing to do the work, you got to remember this is not, boy, as you guys know, this is not just getting up there and winging it. You better have a message. You better have a brilliant story to tell. You better have something that somebody wants to listen to because, it's a serious deal.
Absolutely, truly an idea worth sharing. I'm I've got the amazing blessing of coaching someone right now, RJ, in that TEDx Eustace process. And that's exactly what she's doing. She is bringing her A game. She is giving drafts. And she is open to suggestion. She's listening. And I spent probably 30, 45 minutes with her the day before yesterday. And then yesterday, she had made, some of the modifications that we talked about while being true to her authentic voice and just
Right.
and I think about Mark because Mark and Will Hayes, we all met together with mine, and I was just reminded of those times and how we crafted that message that I can still almost recite because I internalized it, you know. What an
Right.
experience, but to be on the other side, like Mark has been so many times now, it's really, really cool.
Mm.
Yes.
I got to tell you, I can't imagine. I think it's harder to be a TEDx coach than be a TEDx speaker. I mean, you guys, my hat's off to you because we don't know nothing, and we have to be helped. But I will say this about the coaching that I got. I had Dennis Gleason, and he he didn't lose me in the speech. I was still in the speech. It still was me. But his things that he added, little tiny things here and there, made it so much better. My hat's off to you, coaches. That's a tough gig.
Yeah. And it also, we have to, it's a collaboration, right? You cannot be too forceful.
Right.
You cannot also take too much of a back seat, but understand the energy, understand the purpose, and understand the style of your particular
Yes.
speaker, and let them
Yeah.
blossom, but do it in the time frame that is allotted, right?
Yeah.
And do it in a
Yeah.
prescribed prep time as well. It is just like you said. It is in a, it's one of those things, right? It's some people, they want to win the golden medal, or they want to build a sustainable business to have that part of their legacy. Other people want to communicate a message through a book or some other means. So it is, what is your priority list,
Right.
right? How
Right.
much of your life energy are you willing to exchange to create this quality experience in your life and in your community?
Yeah. That is so good. I like what you say, quality experience, because I mean, I've done a lot of things in my life. I've done a lot of very interesting things and met a lot of great people. But I tell you, top five at TED Talk. That changed my life a little bit because now I really got into Toastmasters. I got a YouTube channel that's doing excellent. I'm having a lot of fun with that. So it's really gotten me, pushed in this direction since I retired a couple of years ago. That now I know what I'm doing. I'm focused on a lot of cool things, and I don't do anything that I'm not going to have fun at. And TED was a lot of fun.
Did you say you just know now what you're doing? So there's still hope for me yet. I have not retired, but maybe. So is
Yeah.
that the takeaway here? When you retire, then you really get to know what you what you. Yeah.
Well,
Okay, good.
I know, and that's not necessarily true. I mean, I was doing a lot of what I'm doing now when I was working. I mean, when you're a teacher, you better put on a show. You put on a really good show because you've got to hold their attention. It's kind of like a TED Talk every day. So there's a lot of experience with being a teacher. And then, of course, the whole Navy thing, the Fifth Fleet Master Chief, in charge of, 45,000 sailors in the Persian Gulf during the war. I mean, these are huge experiences that really have propelled me to what I'm doing right now.
Wow. Absolutely. Speaking of your experience there, I know that you were in Naples, Italy. You were in, was it Beirut or Bahrain that you were?
Bahrain.
Yes. Um, how did
Yeah.
you use maybe in those places, unfamiliar and challenging environments? How did you use encouragement to lead your people there? How was that how was that part of what you did? Because I know you did.
That is such a great question, Nick. I'll tell you, we'll go back to Bahrain here real quick. I got asked by an admiral to be his senior enlisted leader, and I'd been the senior enlisted leader about 6 times before that, but I'd never worked for a 3-star admiral. There's only 23 of these guys in the Navy, so this is some kind of rarefied air. But our first meeting, he knows I'm going to ask him what he wants me to do, and he doesn't want me to embarrass myself. So I walk in, I sit down, he says, here's what I want you to do. I want you to do whatever you want to do. I want you to never take no for an answer, and I want you to get on with it. And right then and there, I knew I was going to be the 5th Fleet cheerleader, and I was going to encourage every sailor, every Marine in the Persian Gulf to do their job the way they were taught to do their job, and I would promise to get them back home.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, you went.
It was.
After you retired, didn't you do JROTC?
Yes, I retired and I was out for about 80 days, and they needed a substitute to teach the Navy NJROTC program. And I said, well, I got nothing to do. I'll do it. And they let me substitute for 100 days because one of the guys was having open heart surgery and he didn't come back. And then I was hired, and I spent 14 years with sophomores. I loved it.
And isn't it so cool to see your career come full circle like that? You rose above the ranks, and then you helped those that were starting, to go in there. That a lot of people, I think, RJ would think they were too good for that, or that was beneath them after having the rank you did.
Right.
What sets you apart there? Because something
Well,
does.
I don't know, but I will tell you. I will tell you. I'll tell you what, and this goes out to every teacher that's listening to us. I praise you guys. I mean, it's a tough gig, and it's an honorable position. And I thought of my Navy thing as a very honorable position, and I look at teaching as a very honorable position also. So I'm keeping them on the same level. And just was a real honor to. Here's the cool thing, Nick, and I get letters from boot camp. I'll get letters from boot camp from my kids that I taught 5 years ago. Or I'll get a thing on Facebook. Yeah, I'll get a thing on Facebook. Hey, Master Chief, I just made first class. And I'll write them back. I'm so proud of you. I got a phone call from Korea the other night from one of my kids.
Wow. But that shows that legacy of encouragement. It shows that you were a safe person for them if they know that you'll receive their call 5 years later, if they know that you'll be one to celebrate and understand. And so often people are lacking those folks in their lives, RJ. So many people don't have someone to call and say, this is what's going on. I've got someone like that.
Right.
My 6th grade teacher, Mrs. Romine, wow, she's that person for me. I can call her, I can celebrate. And she's remained part of my life entire life. And I see you as being an anchor point like that. How do you think that other people that are listening, RJ, that maybe are afraid to put themselves out there and encourage others, how could you encourage them to take that step of sometimes you may get hurt, but it's worth it to do that?
Well, here's what I'll say to that. It is worth it to do it. And I just think that you really don't know as a person how what you say can affect somebody's day or somebody's life. And then we talked a little bit about Maria, but you know, if you're afraid to do it, if you're a little whatever, it's just a compliment. It's just recognizing that they did something nice. You know, the other day my mom, she was in a wheelchair and we were moving her along from here to there. And this guy came up to me and he looked at me and he goes, I want to just tell you, you're doing a great thing right there. He says, I've been through it. And, you know, he related to me right then and there that, you know, the process I was on with my mom, he's been through that process, obviously, before with his mom, and he was congratulating me on taking care of my mom. And what a simple thing, but what a lovely moment.
Absolutely. And thinking of those times of life, it sounds like you've retired twice now, RJ. How would you encourage
Yeah.
those listeners? We've got a lot of people that are at that age of retirement or they've already retired.
Mm-hmm.
How would you encourage those folks?
Man, here, I got it. You're going to love this one. If and when you do retire, keep yourself busy. Have yourself lined up. If you took a look at my calendar right now, every place there's a blue line, I got something to do. Well, I got 2 places that don't have blue lines this month. and that's just, and then you just do the fun things you want to do. Like I said, I work with the special needs kids. You know, I do my Toastmasters thing at North Jacks. I'm speaking to the veterans for Maria, November 6th down in Tampa or someplace. I'm not even quite sure. So I'm working on that speech, but you got to keep yourself busy. You can't sit on that couch and watch that TV because you got plenty more to give.
That's it. And Mark, is there anything else? I know I've asked a lot of questions here. You have any other questions for RJ? I'm sorry, I kind of took that over. I love RJ Chapman. Yeah, I am a fan.
RJ. Hey, Nick, RJ loves RJ too. Okay.
Yeah, it's just sometimes you just have to sit back and listen, and I'm happy to do that.
Yeah.
Thank you, RJ, for sharing. Just like you said, you never know. I have a lot of respect for wisdom, for honor, and learning from others, from diverse backgrounds. One of the things that
Right.
one of my dear friends have said, there's a lot of God winks or like a special moments, right? And you just have to listen
Right.
and absorb. So maybe perhaps this is one of them in one way or the other. And
Sure.
so I'm open to learning. One thing I wanted just to, I only have one question, and I know we're coming up on time, is what would you say to somebody who is somebody who wants to dedicate their life or contribute in a big way in a teaching profession? What kind of things they should look for? Maybe they will be formally as a teacher, or maybe they can be a teacher in a community. What are some of the things that somebody need to remember?
Wow. That's, oh boy, that's a deep one. I'll tell you. You got to remember that every word that comes out of your mouth is, you know, it's taken very seriously by these kids, and you got to go into this position, this profession, knowing that, just like Nick said, you know, his 6th grade teacher, he still keeps in touch with. You're going to be molding a mind. You're going to be setting an example. It's just such an honor to do it. And I guess if you were going to go into the teaching profession, you should know this right up front. It takes a little bit of work if you're going to do it right and you're going to do it good, but then you're going to fall in love. You're going to fall in love with your kids. You're going to look forward to every day, and you're going to miss it when it's over.
Wow. Thank you.
Sorry about that. I got a little emotional.
Yeah, well, it's when it's a powerful emotion, we just let it open, right? You know, just let it flow
Right.
flow. Yeah, I hear you, and thank you, for sharing.
Yes,
In the
sir.
past, I have served as a youth leader at one of the
Nice.
congregations in Florida, and I got to tell you, of course, it was an unpaid position for me, but now looking back at it, 15 years later, for that time of service, I consider it to be one of the highlights of that time in my life. All the trips, all of
That's
the
great.
activities, all of the relationships,
Mm,
and learning that I had to do internally to serve. Like
mm.
Sundays were big, but Sundays is just it's time when we formally come together. But all throughout the week, oh man, that was a great time. Yeah, so I can relate in a little
Yes.
bit. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Good. Good.
you.
Thank you.
RJ, you're amazing, and just want to
Ah,
appreciate you once again. And Mark, you're amazing. Thank you both for being authentic, for being vulnerable, and for
mm.
encouraging so many people. It's what it's about. You know, RJ, is there a book in your future?
Well, I gotta tell you real quick. I gave this little book to the kids to write me letters that I could read when I retired, and that was part of my TED talk. And I think I've written 9 chapters, so yes, but what it is it's what I taught those kids that day that made them write this letter to me, and that's chapter 1. And then there's another, what I taught that day that made them write this particular letter to me, and that will be chapter 2. And there's 66 letters, Nick, and they're beautiful.
Wow. Well, I'm looking forward to that. And if Mark and I can help you in any way, that's one of the things we love to do is see people realize those kinds of dreams. So let us know if we can help you. We've done it ourselves and just look forward to however we can help you on your journey. We definitely want to do that. Mark has it.
Can I add? Can I add one thing, Nick?
Yes.
Nick, I just want to add one thing. If you go to the RJ Chapman Show on YouTube, there is an actual show where I read some of these letters. Oh, and it'll get you. It'll get you, man.
Would you be willing to post? I'll send this a copy of our podcast to you. Would you post that link so that our viewers can experience that with us?
I will certainly do that. You kind of lost me at link and posting, but you know what? I actually made this happen today, so I probably can do it.
I believe in you, and Mark does too. Well, RJ.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining us, RJ. And next week we'll be back. Hopefully, Greg will be with us. We'll have another guest, and just look forward to seeing you all next week. Be encouraged. Autumn is here. In Florida, even we can feel that just a little bit. But around the country in the U.S., we're seeing all kinds of beautiful, beautiful foliage. But we've got those that are affected by a hurricane just north of us. We've got
Right.
people around the country that are struggling. And so let's remember them today. Mark, where you are, is it beautiful there right now as well?
Yes, I'm enjoying you know what it is? I got to tell you this, Nick. Wherever you are in the world, that's the place to enjoy it. You may not
Yes.
see it
Yes.
immediately. You may not understand it just yet. Until you do, it's a process, it's a journey. So I have learned whatever time I have on this earth is to enjoy where I am. That's it.
Yes. Yes. Well, thank you all.
Beautiful.
Have a
Beautiful.
wonderful day. Any last words, RJ? I'm going to let you close us out today.
Well, I just want to tell you, it's been an honor being on the show. You can call me anytime. I'm all about blabbing. I'm all about being positive. I'm all about energy and enthusiasm. So, you guys, I appreciate you today, Mark and Nick, and you guys have a great day.
You too. Until next week. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.